Hi, and welcome to the latest in our series of Meet the Manager videos. Today we're going to look at a fund which is quite different from any that we've looked at in the past. The fund in question today is BACIT, which stands for Battle Against Cancer Investment Trust. This is a listed fund. It is, as of today, the 358th largest in the UK market, so it's just below the FTSE 250 index. And it's different in two primary ways. One is that it doesn't charge any fees, and secondly, it makes a annual donation to charity. And to join me to talk about this, we have Tom Henderson, who's the architect behind BACIT. Tom, thank you very much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me here.
Could we maybe start with a bit of the background to the fund and what it's aiming to achieve?
Absolutely. Well, as you said, BACIT stands for the Battle Against Cancer Investment Trust. And the idea behind it is to create a best-in-class fund of funds. And we do that by investing across a broad, diversified, both by geography and by asset class, managers, best in breed, generally brand names, but there's also some entrepreneurial funds as well. And as you said, why we think it's going to be better than other funds is that, one, best-in-class manager, two, no fees. And we think that should lead to interesting returns over time.
Yeah, it's very refreshing. So we have a number of underlying managers who are investing in their own niche areas, and a lot of those are investing in the stock market. How sensitive would you say the overall performance of BACIT is likely to be to the stock market? How much sensitive?
Well, there are 32 funds within BACIT today. We like to call it an all-weather investment vehicle. So we have private equity, we have long-short, we've got credit, infrastructure and private equity and commodities. Today we're 55% exposed to the equity market, but within that it's split between long-only and hedge funds. So what we're trying to do when we built this portfolio is to take 70% of the upside of an equity market and 40% of a downside. And if you look at the performance over the 17 months we've been going, there have been 5 periods where performance in the equity markets have been slack. And in all of those, we've outperformed the index.
Fine, yeah, certainly it hasn't displayed much volatility so far. Now, one of the things we're always very keen to see in the funds we invest in here is alignment from the sponsors and the managers. Yeah. Is that something you would care to share with us in terms of your own alignment of interest?
Well, this is the only fund I run. It's the only fund all the management team run. There's a lot of people involved with BACIT. We've got boards, we've got special advisors, we've got our own management team. So there's quite a few people involved, but I think in terms of the investment trust world, it's got one of the highest inside ownerships. Okay,
great. Well, that's very reassuring, I think, for investors. So we have a number of underlying managers with a number of underlying strategies. Maybe could we just pick out one of those particular funds, one of those particular strategies you think looks particularly attractive in the current environment?
Well, as you say, we've got 32 managers. We like all the managers, so I'm sometimes reluctant to choose one. But if I was to choose one today, I particularly like Andrew Gibbs. He's a person who's been known to the management team for over 3 decades. He's run money for over 20 years. He's a long, short, small, mid-cap European manager. In 2008, for instance, when the markets were very difficult, he made low single-digit returns. And in a market like today, this year, he's up sort of double digits. So great track record, good pedigree.
Okay, and the name of that fund is?
It's Andrew Gibbs, it's the Otis Fund, MAGA Fund. It's called Otis Capital as the manager. Right. MAGA is the fund.
Right, great. And finally, maybe just to wrap up, if we can talk about the charitable aspect, and maybe if you could let us know the magnitude of the contribution this year, where that's gone, and maybe just talk about that side of things.
Well, instead of having 4 sets of fees that you traditionally have with a fund of fund, me charging a fee and a management fee and incentive fee and the manager charging a management incentive fee, there are none of those fees. Instead, we have a 1% donation that goes out annually. Half will go to the Institute of Cancer Research, who are our partners, and they're leading the world's leaders in cancer research. And half will go to 17 other charities that are chosen by the underlying investors within BACIT. So we've got charities that look after research into Alzheimer's, childhood cruelty, research into suicide, all sorts of charities. But it's up to the investor within BACIT to determine where their 0.5% is spread.
Great, okay. Tom, thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully that's been of interest. If you'd like any further information on BACIT, please contact your Gilligan broker who will be able to provide you with that information.